I always teach my kids, it's good to be disappointed. Learn to live with disappointment.
Australian drivers are cursed when they got to drive the home race.
That's bad luck, I think. Come on, give us a smile. And he's given him the finger instead.
He could have killed Liam Lawson over there.
He might have hurt himself as well.
He's just a shit stirrer and he loves it. Welcome to Paddock Access. I'm here with F1 photographer Kym Illman.
And I'm sitting next to Jacky Martens from the Netherlands, and we are talking the Australian Grand Prix. And my gosh, it was 4 days of fantastic action.
Yes, 4 days of jet lags as well. I mean, this was actually the
for
first...
you.
Yeah, well, it was ridiculous.
Not for me.
This was actually the first night that I had a proper sleep.
Well, I had a 3-hour flight here, but I think we're all richly rewarded, especially at the start of that race with, 15 or so laps of leadership changes.
Mario Kart, you mean?
That's what the drivers were saying.
Yeah, well, I think I have to agree with the drivers. But before those 15 laps, what happened to your local hero?
Well, he didn't do so good on one of
God.
the reconnaissance laps, spun, hit the wall, 23 Gs. Now, I looked at that crash and I thought, they weren't going full speed. It was an innocuous-looking thing, but 23 Gs is a big crash. He was ended up coming back in the medical car with Carl Reindler. Medical car, yes. And then he was walked back down the paddock. I didn't see that, but the crowd where I was, very disappointed because they were Oscar Piastri fans. They paid big money to sit in the Oscar Piastri stand.
Well, we were at the grid when it happened. They were showing on all those screens around the track, they were showing this edit from last year. So you saw a crashing Jack Doohan, a crashing Carlos Sainz, and then all of a sudden there was this McLaren in the grass, completely damaged, completely destroyed, and the people didn't notice yet. But I was walking on the grid. I was looking at Luca Coliani, head of comms from McLaren, and he was with his, not in his hair, but with his hands on his head. And a colleague of mine said to me, haha, those German guys, German broadcasters, think it's this year. Yeah, I said it is this year.
Well,
And the crowd didn't notice yet because it was in the middle of this edit that was going on.
I should say, too, that we're in the middle of Melbourne suburbia, so you're going to get lovely bird noises, plane noises, everything, and thanks to my lovely family here for allowing me to use it. But I was standing next to Charles' photographer, Antoine Trichet, and he's taken his headphones off and says, McLarens have crashed. And we're looking at the screen, and we haven't seen it because obviously there's a delay. And then he's come back and said, it's Oscar.
Yeah.
And then I raced straight down to Oscar's space on the grid.
Yeah, I saw you passing by. I was standing on the grid.
Yeah.
And like all the broadcasters did, they were all making videos and content from what was going on there. And even the mechanics, they were, obviously they saw what was going on, but they also had what should we do now? It's very obvious.
Well, they're waiting for instructions through their headsets. And I shot them standing looking, and they were there for probably a good 4 or 5 minutes before the instruction came, right, pack up. You got the afternoon off.
Yeah.
Well, not for all of them, because some of them are on pit crew duty. But I went back to the garage. All the chairs were still set up because you only have one pit crew for both cars. So it wasn't like half the guys got the afternoon off. But yeah, that's a real sad thing because you go back and you look at Daniel Ricciardo, didn't start in 2017.
I want to talk about that. Those Australian drivers are cursed when they got to drive the home race. It's
2019 when he came off 300 metres after the start. Jack Doohan last year. Oscar spinning.
Last year also, he was in it for the win. But there was never been an Australian driver on the podium during an Australian race.
Fourth is the best.
I think so, yeah. Daniel was once on the podium, but I think he got disqualified.
2014.
Yeah.
You've been watching my video that I put up earlier.
No, but what is it then? Is it also maybe the pressure?
That's bad luck, I think.
Is it bad luck?
Yeah.
There's 100,000 people in the grandstands. All of them, 99% is wearing a green shirt with yellow Oscar Piastri on.
Yeah.
Is it maybe the pressure?
No. I don't think it's pressure. I think he was unlucky. His family were there, his mother, his 3 sisters, grandparents, his dad and his dad's partner. Yeah, that was a full Piastri roll-up. And I'll tell you something. I got this note. It was 5:17 p.m. I'm sitting in the media centre, I think, and I see this note come up. Nicole says, his mum says, Kym, could you pop down and get a photo of the 3 girls in the garage before the race starts? I think 5 o'clock that's come through and the race starts at 3. So I messaged back, I just received this. He said, probably not a bad thing as it turned out. But, she's lovely. Have you ever had one of her mother's Lamingtons or Rumbles?
No.
Well,
Of course not.
she makes them for the team.
Yeah.
And she
not for journalists, that's for sure.
Oh, for photographers. I got a little box
Okay,
on the weekend.
lucky you.
I couldn't eat all of them, so I handed them out to a few people. But I love that about his family. Really beautiful people. In fact, pretty much every family I've met of an F1 driver I've got on well with.
Yeah, well, luckily they got rid of that car quickly, so we didn't get a delayed start. And let's talk about the start.
I think most people by now would have seen Colapinto's reaction, and that was amazing.
That was insane, but
Yeah.
he could have killed Liam Lawson over there.
He might have hurt himself as well.
Yes, 100%. And that's a direct consequence of the regulations because everybody is struggling with getting their batteries full and getting the systems up and running before the start.
Because there was 4 of us shooting this race, and I really was thinking maybe I should have someone covering the start in case of that incident, and it's happened before where drivers have sat there and been cleaned up. It turned out I couldn't get a shot. I would never have got a shot close up of what happened there. I might have seen it, but I would have had a fence in the way. But yeah, I did plan for it, and it didn't surprise me that it happened. I didn't find out for probably 6 hours after the race that it had happened, though.
Now they have this pre-start procedure of a few seconds to charge everything, and then the lights go on. They were off quickly.
Well, Crofty said he had to rush his commentary. It caught him by surprise.
Oh, yeah. So I wasn't the only one who found out. No? Okay.
No. And look, when I'm shooting on track, I rarely know what's going on. So I'm thankful for... I get a lot of messages through the Grand Prix weekend, and most of them are stuff that I really can't help with. Can I get a pass, whatever. But occasionally people say, oh, did you see that? Or so-and-so did that. And I'm really grateful for you. If you're sending me stuff via Instagram, and it's really pertinent information like that one about Crofty this morning, that helps me have a better understanding and, of course, get that across to those people who are watching, like you on this Paddock Access podcast.
But it was fun to watch. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm not a big fan of those new regulations. We're going to talk about that later. But we had some fun in the first few laps, didn't we?
I couldn't tell what was going on.
It was crazy.
All I see at turn 1 is what happens into that corner and the exit of turn 2. And sometimes we can hear the commentary, but the cars are reasonably loud, so that's perhaps taken away from us. But yeah, I think from what I've heard, people were pretty happy with what they saw. It was racing. Well, I was surprised to see Charles hit the front by turn 1, but then again...
I wasn't surprised because in testing in Bahrain, we already could tell that everybody with a Ferrari engine was like a rocket ship on the start.
Is that... I've got no understanding of mechanics, but is that because they have a smaller turbo?
Yeah, apparently. It's not the only reason, but that's playing a big role, yeah, for sure.
Well, at one stage I thought, we're going to see Charles on the podium, and we had Carlos last year on the podium.
Yeah.
We've had Seb on the podium, top step.
Sorry,
Not last year,
I have to laugh, but
the year before.
The problem is, I mean, Ferrari was in the lead. Okay, you get a virtual safety car, and then the only thing that you should do at that moment, I think, is at least pull at least one driver in for fresh tires, and they didn't do it.
And Lewis made mention of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, straight away he did.
He had a spring in his step at this race, I thought.
Yeah.
He didn't skulk around as he sometimes does. It was very good with fans. He did Melbourne walk on Thursday or Friday. I don't know, is that unusual? But it was great to see him out there, and he stopped for a number of people. And it is tough on a driver like him who was just constantly under siege from everyone to do that. But
did every driver do the Melbourne walk?
I don't know. I think a lot did.
Did Max do it?
No, first day Max came the sneaky route, and he bypassed it. I don't know if he did it. Liam Lawson, did you see him come in that Raptor?
Yeah, that was on Sunday. That was cool.
T1 Plus.
That was cool.
That was amazing, and so loud and so big at the back. And he came in with the doors open, and they actually had a little path beaten out for him to come down the Melbourne walk, which is a walk, not a driving thing. But yeah, he loved it.
I have to say, their social media team is quite on it with both Arvid Lindblad and Liam Lawson. I really like their footage on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, I heard Arvid afterwards talk and something along the lines of, I respect Max. I'm not going to just lay down for him. I'm going to fight
How
him.
good was that? How good was Lindblad this race?
Yeah, he's a cool kid.
Scoring points in your first race, that's always a big win. But then fighting with drivers like Lewis Hamilton in the beginning, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen.
Yep. Well, we actually had Ford's... I don't know what Bill Ford's title is, but he's a great-grandson of Henry Ford, and he had his kids as well. And then on top of that, we had the top dog from Audi came over, and I was told for 20 hours. Gernot Dolner?
Yeah.
Yeah, he landed, came to the race, watched it, jetted out.
Did he enjoy the race?
Well, they got points, didn't they?
Yes.
Bortoleto
got points.
Yeah,
yes.
I imagine that was a great positive.
I
for
think
him.
that's one of the few happy drivers. So Bortoleto scored points. Lindblad should be happy. Obviously, the Mercedes boys are happy. George said, "I love this car. I love this engine." Because he's just a shit stirrer and he loves it.
Yeah, and I like listening to George. He's very eloquent in the way he speaks, and
a little bit too much sometimes. I mean, you are a Formula One driver in the end, not a what is he, a lawyer or something?
Yeah, well, he's on the GPDA, is it, Drivers Association?
Yeah. So that suits him well.
Yeah. He's like a school prefect, isn't he? I gave him a copy of my African wildlife book because he went to Kenya, I think. Yeah, on the time off. But yeah, in the press conference, I was impressed that he said, "Look, Lando and Lewis, they're going to say it's nasty, it's not pleasant, and they're going to find things wrong with it because they're not winning. Yeah. But we're selfish people." That's what he said. Drivers are selfish.
That's honest.
Yeah, and I think it was a bit like a Dan Ticktum moment for me. Oh, he said something that we all know because he was beating around the bush for a little while. I thought, come on, say it, you're close.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like Dan Ticktum too. He's controversial.
Yeah, well, George isn't very controversial, but as I said, I think he's quite a shit stirrer. He knows exactly what's going on within the drivers, everybody's opinion. I mean, there's at least 20 drivers who are unhappy, apart from the Mercedes boys. And he knows that very, very well. So that's also the reason why he says it, no?
I think so. I went down to Cadillac at the end of the day. Perez was okay. Yeah, he was 3 laps down.
Yeah.
But they finished, and they had a podium. They had a post-race celebration for first race.
Yeah.
Like we got to the first race.
Yeah, but
we jumped that hurdle.
3 laps behind? 3 laps behind and 50 plus seconds or so? That's a lot.
Yeah, and Valtteri had to take his penance and pull the car over, but he did give some love to the crowd, and that was lovely. They went crazy for him.
Yeah. Well, he was on all the banners here in Australia. They treat him like he's a local hero or something.
It's marvellous that he's done that pretty much all off his own bat. He's got no marketing team. He's got no PR spin on it. He is just a real ambassador for our country.
Yeah. What about Max Verstappen? He had to start all the way from the back because of his crash in qualifying. He finished 6th. Mm-hmm. He wasn't able to pass Lando Norris in the end.
Yep.
He wasn't a happy man. I mean, obviously, he's not a happy man since 26.
But sometimes I think disappointment makes you stronger. I always teach my kids, it's good to be disappointed. Learn to live with disappointment.
Okay. Well, I keep it in mind.
Not everything's going to go your way every minute of every day. And as an F1 driver, only one wins every single week.
I disagree. I mean, he genuinely cares about the sport. Mm. He's a racing driver. Going slower through corners to charge the battery or shifting backwards on a straight, that's not why you become a racing driver, is it?
That's exactly right. And I know that Formula One and the FIA are very closely monitoring this because they were keen to see what the driver's response was post-race. And as you said...
Well, they were, because we were talking to all those drivers after the race. Lando Norris, for instance, he was very negative. Yeah. Max Verstappen, okay, we know that from the start. But it was the same with all the other drivers. And as soon as the drivers left, and we were still standing there, and we were also walking towards the media center to do a job, to write our articles, those people from FIA and F1 were like, what are they saying? Like,
yeah, they want to know because they have to react to that. Yeah. It's in everyone's best interest to get the right blend of whatever these rules are. And because they're brand new, they don't know exactly yet what has to be done. But I have no doubt they'll sort it out because they don't want people tuning off that telecast.
Exactly. But you said the people that I spoke to were happy about those first few laps. Mm-hmm. Let's say the older Formula One fans. The fans who were here from the start, not the Drive to Survive people. Yep. They're not too happy. They think it's too artificial, too much Mario Kart. I already saw some edits on Instagram from that. It looks cool.
Yeah, I understand they're not happy, but will they stop watching? If they're a real fan, can they go, I won't watch, but then go, oh, what's happening? Oh, I'm going to come back in and watch.
Yeah.
It's a powerful sport.
It is a powerful sport, and I think if you look at the partners and the sponsors that are involved in Formula One now, I mean, those pure race fans like me is not the only audience anymore.
When you say sponsors, I'm thinking straight away Aston Martin sponsors. They missed a lot of on-screen coverage on the weekend, those sponsors. Sad for them. Really quite bizarre situation.
Well, it was the story of the weekend on Thursday. But then so many things happened after that nobody is actually talking about Aston Martin today. And I think they knew about that. They know, okay, we're going into the weekend. We're going to start that race. We're going to do, I don't know how many laps they did it in the end. But yeah, in the end, no one is talking about Aston Martin. It's Oscar Piastri's crash.
And they'd be very thankful that all that stuff happened.
Exactly.
It took the heat off them. I want to jump now to the group photo on the grid on Sunday. You were out there?
That was utter chaos. Was it?
It was funny. When you look at these pictures here and you see all these drivers just mingling around, it's like herding cats, we would say in English.
But how does that work? Because obviously there's one leader who guides all the drivers. And, okay, you're going to watch me now. You're going to look at this camera and we're going to shoot it all at the same time.
Well, I don't think that happened. I was up the back, so I can't be 100% certain. But certainly some of the senior photographers, likes of Mark Sutton and the guys from Getty, would normally just take control, but there's nothing organised. Maybe in the future, somebody has a loud hailer and says, right, guys, we're going to go in 3 seconds. Everyone look forward here. And then there's a hooter, and they all look forward because it's very hard to get 22 looking straight. And the V-carb guys, they were just looking right all the time. I don't know. That's like...
There's not a single picture where they are actually looking at a camera.
Yeah, and if they are, someone else is looking elsewhere. So I think in the future, I'm going to recommend to the FIA that we get a hooter.
Okay,
and
I'll say it in the camera.
FIA people, I think next time we do this, we're going to get a hooter, and someone's going to say, stand by in 3 seconds, and then we're going to blow the hooter, and at that moment, for 2 seconds, everyone looks straight on, because photographers only need a second. Yeah. Did you go down to the Mercedes celebration?
No, we got champagne, we got everything over there, including the green shirts with P1 on it.
Yeah, somebody asked me in my DMs this morning, what's that about? Find out. I don't know.
I saw some comments about another podcast, P1. They said, hey, they're on the shirt of Mercedes. But that's not what it is. Right. It is P1 in the race. George Russell obviously won the race.
And the championship.
Yes, well, obviously. But they do it after every race they win. They're going to wear the Adidas shirts. It's a sponsor thing.
Rightio. So those shirts will be available for sale?
If they're smart, they would do it. But not sure yet.
I'm XL, and you'd be what? L, medium?
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you in advance. Apple TV.
What about it?
Do you know anything about the coverage in the US?
No, not yet. What? You're going to tell me now?
Somebody sent me a message this morning saying, oh, anger. They have ads through the sessions.
Through the sessions?
Yeah.
And does that mean that the whole broadcast is gone? That the whole live, the whole...
well, it does,
the stream is gone?
I've decided I get the full story because I'm not in the US, neither are you. So we don't know what you're seeing, if you're watching this from the US, on your TVs. So I thought I'm going to get lots of people hammering Apple TV, but no. The comments were pretty much well done. But yes, Apple TV gives you 2 ways of watching. You can watch it on Apple TV and you get, Sky's commentary, I think? Okay. Or you watch F1 TV's version of it and you get no ads. And you get Alex Jackson, that crew.
Yeah.
So you get 2 choices, which is, I think, pretty cool.
And you can also choose your own language, no, on F1 TV. At least as Dutchies, we can do that.
Right. And they also have different camera angles from drivers.
Yeah.
So it's a step up, and a lot of people are saying better than ESPN.
And do you know what a subscription costs? Apple TV?
No, I'd have to look up my notes. Somebody sent me some stuff.
Okay.
But I think if you had Apple TV prior, and you had ESPN, and you only had ESPN for F1, you've saved money.
Well, you don't see a lot of Apple TV in the paddock yet.
No.
Will that ever come?
I was told that they might end up getting a paddock reporter, a pit lane reporter perhaps, for their channel, as Ted is for Sky.
Is that something you would admire?
Admire? What?
Yeah. A job like that, a pit reporter?
I can't work for anyone, mate. I am not an employee. I'm terrible. No, I would not want to be doing that. And I don't know anything about cars. So I know people and marketing and photography and Instagram now.
Yeah.
I've got an idea. So, yeah.
Talking about Instagram, Kym, there was one post this weekend that really stood out.
Yeah.
When it comes to likes and
86,000 likes and probably reached about 500,000 people.
That's a lot. That must be a driver.
Must be Max or George. No, it was a driver's trainer and a driver's girlfriend. This is the picture.
Yeah.
Remarkable. And in fact, if I go back through all of my top rating pictures for this weekend,
You have quite a few, huh? And you're,
Well,
you're proud on that too?
Yeah. If I just go back and look at them, where are we here? Most of them, drivers' girlfriends.
Yes.
This picture here, 3 girlfriends having lunch.
Yeah.
On a deck. Crazy numbers.
Talking about those 3, because I know we're talking about. This is Charles Leclerc's girlfriend, I think, together with Carlos Sainz.
I can't remember what the picture is because I can't see it. But yeah, it's these 3 ladies here.
Yeah. It's fun to watch because from Thursday onwards they are walking up and down to the paddock.
Yep.
Wearing all those very expensive designer clothes. It's like a competition nowadays, isn't it?
Very much so. And I tell you,
who's wearing the best dress?
I am very on to getting the designers.
Yeah.
Because I want to tell my audience stuff they don't know.
Yeah.
And there's also a commercial reason. Because a lot of, like Meshki on the weekend, a couple of others I've forgotten now, I tag them in the post and they buy the pictures. And you look at my audience, 35% women. And that's pretty unusual for motorsport to
yes.
for an Instagram channel. So yeah, I think it's a great way for designers to get their product out there. It's a great way for those girls that come into the paddock to raise their profile.
Yeah.
And let's face it, they're amazing influencers. They sell stuff.
100%. I want to talk about the necklace.
Yeah.
There is a necklace with every single, handcrafted, with every single racetrack.
Yeah.
Combined.
You told me that
$350,000.
Was anyone wearing it at the track?
Liam Lawson's girlfriend.
I got pictures from her, I think, for most days. I didn't see it. But I remember talking to one of the, I think it was one of the girls or someone in the paddock about that. And I'm kicking myself now that I didn't do something on it. I should have been more onto it. So forgive me.
So what did you do then?
I just forgot about it until you raised it this morning.
Well, I see you during a day. I see you running back and forth through the paddock, taking thousands of pictures.
20,000 I will take over a weekend because every time you press the shutter, it goes off 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. So what is on a Sunday? Because yesterday was a busy day. How many pictures?
5,000.
5,000.
And then Jace will probably take 3. Jack will take 2,000. Jade probably 800.
Yeah. Well, tell me, because you're not on your own during your whole
Not
race.
this race. This was huge. We had such a big workload that I needed extra help. Normally it's Jace and me for 18 races.
I noticed when you were passing by this Melbourne walk, you were walking there with your team, including your son Jace. He has some fans here in Australia.
He does have some fans. He's created
female fans mostly.
Yeah, well, he's a young man, younger than you and me. So yeah, he's attracted the attention.
And way better looking than us. Huh?
Yeah, but it was incredible the number of people, the increase in the number of people following me this year from last year. Last year was great. You walk along there, but crazy, absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
So thank you to all those people that follow me and that will be shortly following you.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the aim.
I know.
Talking about Albert Park, Australian Grand Prix, it is, I have to say, because I mean, I've seen many races. It has to be the best event of the year.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Why?
I think so. Even when you are arriving at the track already, you have the feeling, you have this festival feeling.
Yeah.
Right? With all the food corners and everything.
Yeah.
There is a very, very big stage.
Yep. I think Fisher was playing there. I saw him.
Yeah. Even when I left the track yesterday late, the concert was still going on.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's such a nice vibe. I really, really like it.
And they made some amendments this year. They put a couple of extra bridges over the top. Guys, we're in Australia. One of our favourite foods is Vegemite. So, Jackie, I want you to try toast and Vegemite. You've never had this. We eat it like it's going out of fashion.
I saw this on your Instagram earlier.
First comment after your taste, get it down your gullet. Beautiful sourdough bread, lots of cold butter, melted in, light spread of Vegemite.
It's very salt. Maybe too salt for me.
Yeah.
So you actually love this?
Oh, we love it. And we love it even more. We love it even more if it's got a generous layer of beautiful melted cheese on top. Yeah.
I take that back. I'm not the biggest fan.
Few people are, unless you're brought up with it.
When we're going to record this podcast in the Netherlands, I give you some of our stuff.
Not stroopwafels or stroopwafels.
You already had that, no?
I've had that. Yeah, just full of sugar. What's big in the Netherlands?
What do you mean? When it comes to food?
On social media at the moment, what's big in them? What are they talking about now in the Netherlands?
Obviously, with the comments that Max Verstappen makes about Formula One at the moment, that's what the Dutchies are worried about. And we have a lot of new fans. I think the female fans, the newer ones, they love what's going on at the moment in Formula One.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that, and I think that's what the F1 bosses makes happy.
China up next.
China up next, yes.
It's tricky.
Well, I'm traveling back to the Netherlands.
Yep.
I assume you are going to China on Wednesday?
No, tonight.
Tonight already?
Going tonight. The trick is we have to get a J2 visa, which we had. It's as hard to get as the Australian visa. I am so glad I don't have to get a visa to come to this country as media.
I have to say it's worse than Australia because
is it worse than Australia, China?
You have to go through this whole process, and then you have to travel all the way to. I have to travel at least 2.5 hours to the embassy in the Netherlands, travel back, and then pick my passport up a few days after again.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that.
Well, I have done it.
It's just too tough.
And it has all gone through, thankfully. But I've got a travel video coming up because they're going to make me leave China. I have to leave China at their insistence because I want to do a holiday there. I have to leave the country and go back.
Everybody would have been disappointed with that, but you are a happy man because you just opened your travel channel.
That's it, and I've got a new video.
That's good content.
And I can see the thumbnail, and anyone who hasn't watched this podcast will go, why did he have to leave China?
Talking about China, they have one of the longest straights of the whole calendar. Obviously, we're already downshifting at the straights here in Melbourne.
Yep.
What do you think that's going to be in China? It must be worse.
Because I photographed down the end of that straight where they will be lifting. But I wonder whether I'll notice any difference in speed if I can't see them when they start to lift. Because I see them when they brake.
Obviously, we see the onboards, and we can... Obviously, our ears are working well. It is not a good look.
Yeah, it's just sad.
Maybe we should get used to it. Maybe we give it a few races, but...
It's very much like Formula E, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
On steroids, as Max said.
Yeah.
But I like that Formula E race I went to in Jeddah. And on that subject, Bahrain and Jeddah, like you wouldn't be buying a ticket to either of those races yet. Mm-hmm. I imagine people are waiting for confirmation as to what's going to happen. Well, I expect it by March 20, maybe China weekend.
I mean, nothing is confirmed yet, but I can assure that at least Bahrain is not going to happen. There's so much stuff going on at the moment still. That race is never going to happen. I think Jeddah is going to fight because obviously...
They're further from the conflict.
Yes, they are on the good side of Saudi, I would say.
Yep.
And there's also a money thing, you know. Those countries, in particular Bahrain and Jeddah, paying a massive fee to Formula One to even organize this race.
Yep.
And obviously Formula One is pretty much all about the money. So they want that fee.
Yeah.
So at some point...
It's a business, and they have a right. Whatever the contract says, that will be upheld.
They will... Obviously, they're going to tell Bahrain, okay, you have to cancel the race, but you have to pay. And
that's what happened in Melbourne in 2020. There was the big discussions about COVID. We're not cancelling it. If you want to cancel it, that's fine, but you're going to be wearing the cost. There is actually a court case going on, I was told, between Formula One and the Australian Grand Prix for that thing. But
still? 6 years?
I think there is.
Really?
I think there is. I was told to look up some court documents, but I'm too busy for that.
I saw a video of you earlier this weekend where you were mentioning that you heard stories that Australia might actually organize a second race.
Yeah. High up government minister spoke to me.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. That person, I won't say male or female, follows me, and that blew me away. And that person said that, we're making some approaches. We'd like to see another race here. But they're pulling that building down, probably as we speak now.
Really?
That's coming down.
Yeah?
I guess they've got to get their gear out. And quite frankly, if you and I went for a drive to Albert Park Circuit now and had a look and saw all the stuff still being set up in the garage, that would be a pretty good heads up that it's staying. But I think it's probably packed up and gone.
No. When I left the track yesterday,
they were packing.
Let's say 60% of all the equipment was already gone. They are quick with these things.
They don't want to stay any longer than they have to. It's only those teams that, Mercedes and Ferrari, only their crew raced up to Parc Fermé, and then they go back and pack up.
Yeah, and drink some champagne in case of Mercedes.
Yeah. Look, Jade, who was photographing her first race here in Australia, she got covered in champagne down below, and she was pretty tickled pink about that.
And how is that? I always wonder what a driver feels like after a race when he's full of champagne.
Stink.
Yeah,
they stink to high heaven. It's nasty stuff.
Was that the same with Jade?
No, she didn't get that much on her. She got a sprinkling, maybe just blown over by the wind. Hadja. This picture here was one of my biggest posts. Flipping the bird, what looks like to the camera, but it's not. It's actually to Mark Thompson, who's their team photographer. Mark said, "Come on, give us a smile." And he's given him the finger instead. And Jack Doohan said, "You won't be using this picture." And here we are using it.
Oh, he will be happy with that. He will be delighted.
He flips the bird to me quite often.
Speaking about Red Bull Racing, we're going to do some super cool giveaways this year in this podcast. And, well, what driver can we start better?
Is that guy a world champion?
4 times, actually.
Okay. And
Max Verstappen.
It's a legible, good quality signature.
100%.
If he's signing them with fans, it's so quick, but no, that's a quality product. If you want to win this cap, you do it by email. See the address on the screen right now? Send us an email, and we will pick a winner out of all those emails on Friday, the 13th of March, 5 p.m. Central European Time. And we'll send this hat to one lucky winner. Good luck.
Well, Kym, I think this is it. Our first podcast.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, it's really enjoyable talking to a large group of people interested in F1 from Melbourne suburbia after the opening round of the season. Well, we want to have you on board on every single podcast, so please hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to us. It means you don't miss out on content. So with that said, I'll say goodbye.
Thanks for watching and
stay passionate.